Hello. In the previous video, we looked at the workflow of the attacks for SISEN. In this video, which is the fifth video, we're going to try to demonstrate one example activity from each SISEN attack category. So the video will mainly use smart building scenario for the confidentiality, authenticity, integrity, replay, availability, and we will use one scenario focused safety cases. We can then switch to another one for 6LoWPAN, for example, for protocol and communication path example. In any case, what we're going to do as well, for every attack that we conduct, we're going to capture that traffic so that we can conduct traffic analysis on the capture attack in comparison with the normal attack if we had captured it before. So we're going to open a terminal. And as I said, we will use the smart building. So I'm going to go to desktop and then SISEN, and I'm going to create the environment in case it's not, or I removed it. Right. So now we have the scenario running. We're going to start three things at the same time. We're going to show a terminal with the mosquito messages that we are subscribed to, the topics that we are subscribed to. We're going to start capturing on all the interfaces that are broadcasting to port 1883, and we are going to attack at the same time. So I'm going to open one terminal, and I'm going to divide it into three different parts. One part for the mosquito. You first put it like this so you can see the comment. So mosquito underscore sub, let me make sure, mosquito underscore sub minus h localhost minus t, the topics that you're subscribing to are basically building dash hash and close the topic minus v for details. And you can see that it starts showing us. These are the same data that are showing here anyway, but it's good to see them here because sometimes they are more obvious. So the second one is basically where obviously you need to start capturing the traffic before you conduct the attack so that we capture the attack itself. So we're going to capture the attacks on all interfaces, or specifically any interface for the MQTT traffic. So basically, we're going to type sudo TCP dump minus I, the interface is any, minus n again, minus S0 minus Z, and the user is any username you are logged in with, minus W captures. And we're going to call this, let's call it authenticity spoofed, since this is the attack that we're going to run. .pcap, and the port 1883 is the port that the MQTT topics are going to. Once we do that, it will ask us for the password, and now it's listening on this port and it's capturing the traffic. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start capturing traffic. You can see you're already getting the data. So let's make this smaller. Now we're going to run the attack, authenticity attack, specifically the spoofed attack. So Python 3 attacks and then run attack. The category is authenticity. And the scenario is building. And the attack is spoofed. And if you notice, as soon as I press enter, you're going to find critical values here, and you obviously will find them here as well. You can see the critical here, and you can also see it here. For example, you can see here smoke detected, gas detected, and so on. These are just random values that the malicious attacker is sending to the sensor nodes because they spoof the address of those sensor nodes. And that's what this helper is doing. basically what's happening is we are basically, the system receives a message. It basically looks from a trusted looking identity or topic path, and obviously the address is proofed, and this is the malicious hacker sending that message. And obviously this has big implication on the safety, because false telemetry attributed to a legitimate sensor may cause an operator to assume everything is working fine, while in reality it's not. You can run another attack. So this time I'm going to run, so you stop this, and you run exactly the same command, but this time let's call it integrity extreme. And again, we will run now. So the attack is extreme, and the category is integrity. And again, you can see values that don't make any sense basically for the operator. And there are repeated values. For example, they will see the gas detected, and then gas not detected, and then all clear very quickly. So it's values that confuse the operator basically. We stop this. And what we're going to do now is to basically replay attack. So we're going to introduce previously valid telemetry, but they will look like they are current, while in reality they're not current. So we're going to call this, for example, we can call this replay stale. And if you go here, let's try to run the attack on replay. So the attack is called replay, and the category of the attack is also called replay. So Python 3 attacks, run attack, minus category, and the category is replay, dash scenario, and the scenario is building, and the attack is basically replay. Some of them may not be critical because it's just replaying normal traffic. However, the importance of this, the safety relevance to this is that the system the person who is monitoring the system, or the system itself, is continuing to display old, safe, stale data, while in reality the condition may have changed, and that may have safety implication. And finally, let's try an availability attack. So the category is availability. And in availability attack, we're going to use the scenario building because it's running. And the attack itself is called noise. And in scenario attack, as we saw before, we need to stop this. And we need to run, let's call it availability. Availability noise. And in this case, we are running the noise attack, but we're going to add, as we said, in availability attacks, you need to add how many times you want to run it, because you don't want the system to crash. And you can see that the bytes here, the data, you're not receiving any more data, because basically the devices are not available. There's a lot of different interference on those devices, so they will stop responding. And sometimes they take a little bit of time to go back to normal situation. I'm going to stop this. And basically here, there's a loss of timely and usable telemetry, which may delay recognition, for example, of maybe hazardous conditions. Finally, I'm going to give one example of safety cases. So let's try here. Let's say safety case gas leak. Safety case gas leak. And in this, the attack that we're going to do is basically Python 3 attacks, run attacks, and then dash category. The category in this case is safety case, and the scenario in this case is building, and the attack specifically we're going to use an attack called gas leak hidden. So basically we're going to hide that there's a gas leak, and you'll find that gas leak is normal, while in reality the idea is basically we are affecting, this attack specifically is affecting the integrity or availability of safety relevant telemetry. So the important chain here, if you think about it, is the gas condition exists or should be reported. The telemetry is hidden or falsified, so you're either not receiving data or receiving data that are incorrect, and that dashboard presents an incorrect safe state, which means an operator on an automated system will fail to respond. Of course, that will cause hazard and safety and harmful consequences, and that can be dangerous. I'm going to stop the video here. In the next video, I will look at all the captures that we've taken for those attacks so that we can look at them and investigate, look for evidence of how those attacks happen and whether we can find those specific evidence related to those specific categories. Thank you.